Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 7, Coming Changes, from A Rosicrucian Speaks by Joseph J. Weed. Coming Changes, Philadelphia, November 1947. A basic truth on which both mysticism and science agree is that all is motion. That is to say that everything is in a constant state of flux or change. From time to time, the rate of this change varies. Right now, it is sped up. We, of course, notice any change which affects us in a physical sense, and we are therefore completely aware of the rapid acceleration in scientific progress which has taken place in the last 75 years. Only rarely do we stop to think about it, but when we do, we can't help but be impressed by the recent developments in chemistry and medicine, in transport, land, sea, and air, in communication, and all of the other arts and sciences that have a bearing on our everyday life. Take the telephone. What a change this now commonplace instrument has wrought in our civilization. And consider one of the most recent, television. What an amazing thing. Only yesterday I sat snug and warm in an easy chair in a home in New York and watched a football game taking place on a sleet-swept field at Princeton in 1947. Marvelous. And who can say what television will bring tomorrow? Thank God for the privilege of living in the most remarkable age since the advent of man. Of course, this same rapid rate of change prevails in all fields and all levels of existence. The thinkers can observe the changes in the political and economic structure and in the world of ideas of which our society is built. The sensitives, the artists, musicians, and poets, those mystically inclined, can intuitively discern changes taking place in human hearts, a flowering in many, a hardening in some, and these changes are sped up too. But there are many changes which none of us see, changes which we have wrought and for which we are responsible. The earth is our garden. It has been given to us, the human race, to do with it as we will. We can make it heaven or we can make it hell. We can perfect it or we can destroy it. This is the simple and awful truth. Consider what we have been doing. What conscious effort has been put forth to improve this planet, and how does it compare proportionately with our daily destructive activity? What is equally important, how much thought and emotional activity have we indulged in without being consciously aware of its effect, and what proportion of this has been constructive? It is sad but true that all too much has been deconstructive in its nature and results. Recently in New York, I talked on the power of human thought and the human will and pointed out some of the dire possibilities that face us if humanity continues on the low emotional and mental levels it has followed for so long. The earth has been purged before and it could be purged again. We are aware that the greatest earthly cataclysms in the past have resulted from undersea ruptures. Let us not forget, while the mountain peaks attain the height of 30,000 feet, submarine chasms may be pictured as reaching a depth of 70,000 feet. Several times in the past has the earth undergone the same fate, and just now there may be observed a certain resemblance of past events. There is already present a lack of balance between the waters and the inner fires. You have seen that thousands of people may perish in a single hurricane. It is possible that people can take these violent outbursts of nature for granted, that they do not reflect as to whence comes such imbalance, that not only hurricanes and earthquakes manifest, but even floods reach planetary dimensions. One would think that the millions who have already perished would cause humanity to pause and consider before the consciousness grows worse. How many tens of millions of victims are necessary before the need for a change in consciousness is recognized? If only a small percentage of humanity's total would turn aside from the accepted patterns of world thinking and decide on a path of service and self-sacrifice, the resultant lift to the consciousness of the whole would be enough to mean the difference between destruction and survival. Be aware of the fact that while the word chorus is used to mean a consonance of voices, there can also be a chorus of energies, a chorus of hearts, a chorus of fires. Turn your attention to the choral principle and endeavor to develop within yourself cooperation. This need not interfere with individual action and will bring about a direct increase in the possibilities for constructiveness. You can understand that a chorus needs all kinds of voices, high and low, loud and soft, and therefore each one of you can bring an important addition to the harmony created. Remember this, it is most important. If you are willing to contribute, rest assured that any sacrifice you make for the general good, no matter how small it may seem to you, is like a sweet note adding to and swelling the originality and harmony of the whole. And let me assure you that the path of altruism is not without its personal rewards. Who knows how many dangers are escaped through magnanimity? Your hearts will bear testimony to how much help has come in difficult hours. I know that most of you are willing, even anxious to do your part, but are deterred by a feeling of inadequacy and helplessness. You think, how can the small contribution I can make be of any value? Let me assure you, fratres and sorors, that just as the smallest and softest instrument has its place in the orchestra, so in the chorus of energies, the part you play, no matter how small it may seem in your eyes, is of genuine value and real importance. The next question which assails you is, what can I do? Here your action can be twofold, and its effectiveness will be measured by your sincerity and wholeheartedness. Your first problem is yourself, calmness and self-control. Balance in all things should be a goal sought. This is not easy of achievement. Application and diligence are necessary. You must work at attaining calmness just as painstakingly and with the same perseverance as you would employ in learning a new language or how to play a musical instrument. This requires a new application of thought. We are all too prone to take our reactions to external stimuli for granted, not realizing that these reactions are not always beneficial. If someone praises you, you need not purr and feel proud. Likewise, neither need you be cast down by condemnation or criticism from another. It is quite possible that the praise be from an evil act, for which you really should feel shame. But self-control is extremely difficult. It is almost impossible to achieve unaided. For this reason, we should turn our hearts and minds frequently to the cosmic, to hierarchy, and then petition aid in our struggle. This is most fitting at all times, but particularly in times of stress. The second part of the problem lies in your relations with others. You will find it easier to help others than to discipline yourself. This does not mean for you to make a busybody of yourself, to try to run other people's lives. On the contrary, it means to teach and help by example, by meekness and kindness in your relations with others, and by thoughtfulness and self-sacrifice. There are so many things that can be done. They are as myriad as the leaves on the tree. One hardly knows where to begin. Let us take one simple yet most important example. Here it is. Avoid all cruelty, all violence. Eventually, all cruelty must be entirely eradicated. Not only cruelty of action, but also cruelty of thought. The latter is worse. As a beginning, all display of cruelty before children must be carefully avoided. Humanity must be purified of the most inhuman, dull and malicious darkness of low thinking, just as of leprosy. Children are not cruel until they see the first cruel action, and then only a few people are prepared to oppose this current of darkness. Don't be content to repeat it in an unthinking manner, the great commandment, thou shalt not kill, but ponder, where is the greater killing? In the hand, in the world, or in the thought? Unfortunately, the thought of many people is ever ready for murder. Try to eliminate all cruelty from every thought, word, and action. This is a great step. If the efforts of the relatively small group who are willing to sacrifice self in the interest of the common good, people like yourselves, are successful, then we may look forward to a new and better world in the days to come. Already the three worlds, the physical, the psychic, and cosmic worlds, are far closer to each other than you may think. Now one can see how corresponding vibrations bring cooperation from the inner plane. You are aware how certain individuals from the psychic world who are close to us may act to assist in a common task. Not so very long ago, they were unable to cooperate because of a difference of vibrations, but now your increased rate of vibration and their endeavors for communion make them useful co-workers. For the tension of this world during the past few years has resulted in a rising of the vibrations of the physical plane, and this can be of the greatest benefit in days to come. Thus is created the possibility of most useful common labor between the physical and psychic worlds. The time is imminent when a more complete elimination of the barrier will be possible. Workers in both worlds are striving towards this goal. If and when this is achieved, it will come about through the medium of scientific development, the creation of an electronic apparatus using ultra-short waves, which will permit positive direct communication between the physical and psychic worlds. As you can well imagine, this will permit instruction that will open many doors and will result in hastening the advent of the Golden Age. Another wonderful manifestation of this looked for tomorrow, which may be near or far, according to the development of human consciousness, will be the reappearance among us of supermen. These great beings, masters of wisdom, will come once again to walk among men in the physical bodies, teaching, guiding, and helping man to a more rapid attainment of his destiny. Right now, this is not possible, but it could come if the level of human thinking were raised. We are on the brink of many amazing scientific developments which await only this lift in thinking so necessary to human progress. Medical discoveries that will all but eliminate sickness, electrical and atomic creations that will reduce the necessity for human labor, provide more hours for recreation and study each week, and enable all to enjoy luxuries today available only to the few. New techniques for teaching and training the youth. All these and many others await only the dawn of tomorrow. Will you help bring it about? Will you do your part? Will you as Rosicrucians take up the responsibilities assumed when you joined the order and contribute your share and a little more to rising the vibratory level of the human race? I know you will. Now in closing, I would like to read to you an instruction from the Master M, which is most fitting. I give you the Master's very words. You are urged to associate yourself with any and all bodies of people, that you may plant among them the seeds of unity. It would seem nearly time for a change in the attitude of those students who have been the recipients of our thought and care, as well as our instruction for a length of time. They should have learned ere this that the term unity implies more than a united study of works on philosophy and occultism. That right action in one phase of life presupposes right action in other phases or states of life. Right political and social action should be the corollary of right philosophy. Not many more years will elapse before you may be forcibly brought to concur in this and to realize that this is an age of action instead of selfish seclusion. The reforming forces cannot bring work at the top of the present political mountain. It has grown too high, it must be undermined. Do not mistake me, this does not mean rebellion and anarchy, but education, righteous conduct, brotherly love. The spirit of unity must pervade and possess the masses of the people who form the foundation of the mountain. A perfect whole cannot manifest until the parts are perfect. Your attention and best efforts should be towards your neighbor, in your groups, towns, and states. Meet your neighbors with the request, "Come, let us reason together," rather than in a spirit of dictation or coercion. Those who stand aloof from the vital issues of the day, either because they are hopeless of better things or deem themselves degraded by contact with existing methods, will eventually have reason to regret. The door will not always stand open for them. Some of you are waiting for directions from us. You already have directions enough. No sincere effort is lost. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.